This is just a random question, but I've been doing a lot of thinking after I watched this film. But who would win a fight to the death? Atomic Blonde or Salt?
Reach out, touch faith. Reach out, touch faith.
Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde is a movie directed by David Leitch and it stars Charlize Theron and James McAvoy. And this movie is all about the character named Agent Lorraine Broughton, who is played by Charlize Theron. She was sent to Berlin to retrieve this dossier, and this dossier contains hidden information revolving around the Cold War. And she teams up with David, who's played by James McAvoy, and they navigate their way through Berlin while dealing with deadly spies along the way. And I gotta tell you, by watching this film, Charlize Theron, man, she kicked so much ass. She kicked so much ass in this film, I felt like my ass was getting kicked. Not only did she just have a good role in the kick-ass scenes, she really made the character real to the point where I was actually feeling like she was an actual badass. While analyzing this film, she did all these stunts and her choreography was on point. James McAvoy, who plays a character named David, you might see him as a bad guy, you might see him as a good guy, you might see him as something else. So this character is very complex in a way, so I gotta say he did a good job portraying David. And one thing I do gotta praise is the way this film was directed. It has some good style and it has that little Suicide Squad feel. It wasn't a bad thing, but the style was there with the neon colors and the soundtrack was composed by Taylor Bates. I gotta say that Atomic Blonde's soundtrack was definitely on par with Baby Driver's soundtrack. It's one of the best soundtracks of the year. I just want to talk about the action sequences. Was brutal, was very hard to watch at some times. It was so beautiful. It was so riveting and beautiful. The way Charlize Theron's character was throwing down with folks, it was a real fight. But one thing I do have to admire was the way it was shot in one take. I call it the stairway scene. And one thing I did notice that all of that was in one take. They didn't use no edits, they didn't use no cuts, they didn't use no special effects, and Charlize Theron did a fantastic job with the fight choreography. It didn't seem like it was choreographed. It seemed like it was real, a real actual fight. And also, one thing I did notice with that scene, they didn't add no music. So therefore it adds the realism to that scene. Now I'm getting goosebumps just talking about that scene. That was a badass scene. First 40 minutes of the film. The story, it gets a little convoluted because the film focuses on the character being interviewed. And Lorraine Broughton, who's played by Charlize Theron, is being interviewed and she's telling a story about certain events in her life. And the film jumps from the interview to the scenes, and the interview to the scenes. It gets jarring to watch in a way. And also I feel like the movie focused way too much on its style. Yes, the style was good, but I feel like the film focuses more on this quality of the style, which takes away from the story. Which kind of threw me off a little bit because the story wasn't really executed in a way where I was really feeling the story because the story lacked momentum. But I gotta say, the first 40 minutes, you will have a big question mark that'll pop up in your head, and you're trying to figure out what is really going on with some stories because some of the stories have some holes. But other than that, this film was very good. Now, I just want to talk about the one thing I do love. The favorite part in this movie was a sex scene. There's a sex scene. I mean, you saw it in the trailer, so I'm not really spoiling things. There's a sex scene. Charlize Theron and Sophia Botella's character, they do it. Yeah, let's show that scene again. Oh yeah. I gotta say, this movie was directed very well. I love the director's style he added into it. Like I said, it has a little bit of that neon retro feel, like Suicide Squad type feel. Charlize Theron had a great performance. Toby Jones and John Goodman was also in this movie. They had good performances in this movie as well. Pretty much everyone had a good performance. It's just my main issue is the story and how convoluted it is. But the story does pick up in the third act. So guys, I gotta give this a Ben Affleck Batman because of that sex scene. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to give Atomic Blonde a Christian Bale Batman. This is a really good film. I really enjoyed this film. I want to see a sequel. I want her to go up against like another badass woman, like just like Charlize Theron. Like you could have Angelina Jolie as the villain in a second movie. You have the Atomic Blonde versus the Nuclear Brunette. What? No? Yeah, ain't feeling that? That's my review for Atomic Blonde. This movie comes out in July 28th, so it comes out like 3 or 4 weeks from now. Wow. So, guys, have you seen this movie? Please let me know. And guys, thank you for watching. If you like everything you see and you agree, click right here, join me in the Batman family. I'll have more Batman-tastic reviews on the way. You have been warned. Till then, ciao.
Below us, drifting.